Okay, so the let's see. So the first thing you want to do, if you want to set up a dual boot, is come over to CentOS, CentOS.org, right? And click Downloads and click Mirrors, and choose a mirror that's close to you. And so I'm in Oregon. Come over here. And here's Portland State. And is that Portland State? Yep. Okay. And come down to 6.3 ISOs. If you're 32-bit, click here. If you're 64-bit, click here. I'm 64-bit. And download the live CD. You're going to want both of these. This is for a dual boot install. You're going to want this one. This one. And you're going to want the live CD, right? So burn the live CD, and burn it to a CD and pop it in your computer and boot off of it. And when you boot off of it, you're going to get, one second, you're going to get this. So it's going to automatically boot, right? Now, you have Windows on your drive, and you only have a Windows drive, so that's kind of my thought here, is that you have a Windows drive and you want to boot both Windows and Linux. So let's get that set up. This is going to be so much fun. God. Boot into CentOS. I'm booting off the live CD too, by the way. I'm coming down with a cold, man. I'm always getting colds. Okay, so log in, and it's gonna log in. Okay, so now it's logged in, and we're in a live CD environment. Come over to Terminal. Type in SU space dash. Okay, that gives us root access. Type in RPM -- import http apt.sw.b/rpm -gpg -key .dag.text. Okay, cool. And type in wget http://packages.sw.be/rpm forge -release/rpm forge -release -0.5.2-2.el6.rf. and if you are running a 32-bit, it's going to be i686. Otherwise, if you're running 64-bit, x86_60_64 .rpm. It's going to download this. Huh. Oh, I must have typed something in wrong. Okay. Packages.sw.b rpm forge -release rpm forge -release -0.5.2-2.el6.rf x86_ god damn it, x86_64. There we go. So okay, cool. So see, it just downloaded that file. Now rpm-ivh, rpm forge, blah blah blah. So install that, right? So after that is installed, we want to do yum install ntfs progs, ntfs progs. And I have a dual boot set up right here, so yeah. I think I put 40 gigs to the drive, so it's going to install. Yes, we want to say yes to that, right? And cool, so that's installed, right? So if we do an fdisk space -l, it's going to show that I have /dev/sda1, and it starts at 1, and it's got an ID of 7, and ends here, and it's got this many blocks, and it's 42.9 gigs, right? So if I do an ntfs resize -i/dev, oops, sorry, -i/dev/sda1, it's going to say that I have a 42 gig drive, and I have three gigs in use for my Windows partition. I don't want to use my entire Windows partition. Or I'm sorry, I don't want to resize it down. I want to leave some space for my Windows partition too, right? So let's resize it. NTFS resize. Sorry, 1 second. I can't remember the exact flag. --help. Huh. Ah, yeah, no action. Okay, let's do a no action first, because I want to make sure that it's going to go okay. So no action and -b, and you can see support disks having bad sectors, but mine shouldn't have bad sectors. --size. You can just do -s. Resize volume to mine is my Windows partition space in use is 3 gigs. I'll leave 7 gigs. 10 gigs. We could actually even do this. 10 gigs. Make it 10 gigs /dev/sda1. No action basically is going to make it do it, but not actually do it, just to make sure it'll work. The read-only test run ended successfully. Cool. So if it ends successfully, get rid of no action and let it actually do it. Okay, 1 second. What if I get rid of, well, no, that's saying to do it. Damn, are you for real? I wonder if I could force it. Force. Ooh, I could force it. Well, I don't know if I want to force it. Let me see. The NTFS journal file is unclean. Please shut down Windows properly before using this software. Oh, I screw myself. Man, I just totally screw myself by not shutting down Windows. I did a force off, which is basically like hitting the power button on your computer. And I did a force off because, I'm not actually running Windows. I mean, I installed it, and I don't really give too much of a damn. So let's boot from my local drive, go into Windows, shut it down. And there's some sort of, I don't know, there's some sort of program Windows runs to check the hard drive. Can you, yeah, cool. Kind of figured you'd be able to get rid of the splash screen, but I guess not. Okay. So if you run into that error, let's figure it out. Let us troubleshoot. So I ran into that error. I know I didn't shut down the stupid system. I just forced it off. I basically hit the power button and turned it right off. So it didn't let me do what I needed to do. So let's turn off the computer and let us shut it down and hit turn off. It's gonna get out of here. Hopefully now it'll let me actually do an NTFS resize. I'm kind of surprised that the no action actually worked. All right, so booting from this, let it boot. Boot. You just wait the 10 seconds. It's a live CD, so it's not. I'm gonna have to go through all the steps again. Alright, let's see. So just hit login. Alright, okay, cool. Okay, applications, system tools, terminal. Okay, so SU space dash, that's the first thing we're going to do. Now notice no program is installed, so I have to go through, actually I have to go through all the darn, I gotta set this all up again. Oops. Packages.sw.b/rpm forge dash release / rpm forge dash release dash 0.5.2 damn it dash 0.5.2 dash 2 dot el6 dot. Now, here's the thing. Oh yeah, I gotta do RF. Here's the thing. I686 if you're running 32-bit. Otherwise, x86-64.rpm. Did I type it in right? Oh yeah, okay, guys. Cool. Okay, so there it is. RPM-IVH, RPM forge. So let's install that. And then we do yum-y install ntfs progs. Okay? Cool. Well, yeah, it's got RPM forge there. I don't know. Damn it. Yum-y install NTFS progs, not NTSF. NTFS. NTFS progs. Okay. Cool. So there we go. So it's installing that. And do an fdisk-l and SDA1. It's bootable. The start is 1 and the ID is 7, which corresponds to that type of drive. It's an NTFS drive. So NTFS resize -i/dev/sda1. That'll just give us information about the drive. 3 gigs out of a 42 gig drive, so let's leave some space for Windows and let's resize the drive. NTFS resize -b -size. Now I have no longer have faith in 10 gigs. I no longer have faith in doing no action. And dev/sda1. So what I'm doing is I'm making the NTFS drive 10 gigs, and the rest will be free space where we're going to install Linux. Okay, hit enter. Cool. So every sanity check passed, and are you sure you want to proceed? Yes. As you know, may take longer if you got a whole bunch of crap on your Windows drive, or you got a big Windows drive or whatever. Okay, this is what's important. It successfully resized our NTFS drive. Okay, so it says you can go on to shrink the device, for example, with Linux fdisk. Important: when recreating the partition, make sure that you create it at the same disk sector. Use sector as the unit. Create it with the same partition type. Do not make it smaller than the new NTFS file system size, which is 10 gigs. Set the bootable flag. Okay, so those are the things we need to do. Create it at the same disk sector. Okay, use sector as the unit. So let us do that. fdisk-l. It's going to show us that it's the same size. So we need to /dev/sda in this case. That's my drive. Okay? Now, it's strongly DOS compatible mode is deprecated. It's strongly recommended to switch off the mode. C. DOS compatibility flag is not set. And change display units to sectors. U. Changing display entry units to sectors. So do those. C, U, D. We just deleted the partition. Okay? If I parent the partition table, I now have no partitions on here. Scary. We're going to create a new one. It's a primary partition. Partition number is 1. It's the first partition. Now, it's going to ask me the first sector. Right? When we did an fdisk space-l up here, God damn it. When we didn't, don't do that, man. Come on. When we did an fdisk space-l, it starts on the first sector. Okay, 1. So that means I'm going to enter a 1 here. Huh? Value out of range. Alright. I should have been able to enter a 1. If this doesn't work, that's going to suck. Normally I can do that. I don't know why I can't. We made it 10 gigs. So plus 10G. Okay? So, now, if we print it, oh, you see how it says start at 2048? I don't like that. Quit. We're not going to write it. Let's fdisk it. And let's not hit CU. I don't know why it would do that. Delete it. New. Primary. First one. Aha. First cylinder. 1. Plus 10 gigs. Okay. Now if we hit print, okay, it starts at the first one. Interesting. Okay, so don't hit CU. That's my bad. Now we hit type, and remember it was type 7, which was NTFS. And we hit A, and we hit 1. What does that do? Notice the difference. There's a little asterisk here. Sets it to bootable. M tells you help. A, toggle the bootable flag. Okay? Nothing has changed at this point right now, right? Notice up here I screwed up and I hit Q. Quit. Let's get out of here, right? And I went back in. Now I'm going to change things by hitting W. Right. Let's hope it works, right? Scary. Okay, so, not really, it's gonna work, but fdisk space -L, and here we go, here we go. So, things have changed. Okay, so it should now be a 10 gig drive. Let's reboot. Take your live CD out at this point, and boot into Windows. Boot into Windows. Make sure that you can still boot in. You should absolutely be able to. And watch it not boot into Windows for me, because that's the way my life goes. If your CD is still in, you know, just hit a key there and hit boot from local hard drive. Oh man, woo! For a second there, I didn't think it was going to boot into Windows. I was like, kind of scared. Oh, woo! I've got Windows. Cool. That is so awesome, right? Fuck. Well, okay. Superb. Let's see if check disk goes through just fine. Oi. Let's come back to this. Ah, okay. Wow, that's going. I thought it was going to be like really slow. I have the latest version of Windows here, Windows XP. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna put it on my cell phone. Actually, I have a iPhone. Blech. Sucks. I had an Android phone, and again, I'm going to boot from local hard drive. I had an Android, which I liked. I rooted the phone and I put ice cream sandwich on it. It's pretty cool. And I thought the toilet lid was closed, and I was sitting there and I was getting ready in the morning, and I threw my phone to put it on the toilet, and I threw it in the toilet. Please work. And I should have a 10 gig drive. Windows is starting cool. So check disk probably has to run because your disk is basically changed, and it's like, what is going on? Okay, so let's go over to my computer and see if that works. It should say 10 gigs. Oh, there it says 9.31. Superb, right? Got 6.48 gigs of free space, so, you know, if I want to install things in Windows, I still have space in Windows. Okay, cool. So, now, turn that off. Now what you want to do at this point is burn to a CD. What? Okay, there we go. Burn to a CD CentOS. We just booted off the live CD. Burn this one to a CD. Okay? Boot from this one at that point. At this point. So I'm going to boot from this one. I'm doing this in a virtual machine so that you can follow along. You're probably going to burn it to a CD or you know, a USB key. However, you know, however you're going to do it. So let's say view console. Let's start it up. And now we're going to install Linux. CentOS. I always say CentOS or CentOS. I even say CentOS sometimes. It's CentOS. Okay, install or upgrade, just hit enter. Bada boom. And it's going to load up the installer. Meantime, let's go check Reddit. People always ask me if they can still get in on this. Yes, you can still get in on this. What am I doing? Okay, so skip this because it's a bunch of BS and it will take 2 times longer than it takes to install. Skip. If you're thinking about asking if you can get in on this, you can get in on this. Don't worry about it. I am not... Okay, CentOS. CentOS. That's what we're installing. Choose your language. Oy. Man. Okay, choose your language. English for me. English. Basic storage device. Next. Okay. Name it host.noob2admin.com. Okay. Come over here and configure the network. I am plugged in, so I'm going to configure this one. If you're wireless, come over to the wireless tab and configure that. The most important thing here is that you hit connect automatically. So it brings it up on boot and hit apply. That's really all. You know, I mean, if you use static IPs or if you have some sort of certain setup, obviously, you know, this is set up for, you know, DHCP. But if you use static IP or whatever, you know, set it up to your network specifications, but connect automatically and set it up however your network is. Okay, and then hit next, and then choose your time zone. I am in the Pacific time zone, so next. Set a root password. Okay, and hit next. Now, I'm not going to actually create it. Well, yeah, screw it. Let's create a custom layout. So click Create Custom Layout. Alright? And this is my Windows drive, and this is 30 gigs I set aside for Linux. So it's free. So in this, do not mess with this unless you want to kill your Windows partition. Okay? It's a 10 gig partition, leave it alone. Or, you know, whatever size you set it to. But grab the free, hit create, okay, and create a standard partition and set it to /boot. Keep this file system type ext4, size 200 megabytes. That's perfect, beautiful. Hit OK. Okay, click the free, click create, standard partition, create. I got 30 gigs here. I will set, let's say, 28. Oh, whoops, such a slash. This drive is just slash, okay, and 28, 28 gigs, right? Okay, so now I've got 2.5 gigs. Create, okay, and we're gonna mount point, no mount point, doesn't matter. Click swap, file system type, swap, fill to maximum allowable size, hit OK. And this becomes your swap partition, right? Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure you can have 4 primaries, so it could have really done primary. It did an extended partition. Let's say I had 100 gigs left over, and I wanted to create a 2 gig swap. I would create an extended partition, a 2 gig swap, and then I'd have 98 gigs to create partitions under here. But, yeah, okay, so hit next. So, oh, Windows, 200 megabyte boot, large root partition, and a 2.5 gig swap. If you have, and I said this in the other video, if you have 8 gigs of RAM, you don't really have to worry about a swap at that point. It's not like a huge deal. If you have 512 megabytes of RAM, make a 2 gig swap, make a 1 gig swap, 1 or 2 gigs, that's fine. If you have a gig of RAM, make a 1 or 2 gig swap. Make a you know, 1 or 2 gig swap. I mean, if you have an 8 gigs of RAM, you can just forego making the swap, but or you could make a swap. I mean, if you really wanted to. It's when you have a lot of space, it's really never a harmful thing. Okay, hit next, and we'll write the changes to the disk, and it's gonna go through all this crap and make all the file systems and whatnot, and format the drive, and you know, do all that stuff. Right, which is cool, and it's created the swap. Right? Okay, so we're gonna install a bootloader, right? And this right here is Windows. So let us click this. You don't have to hit that box, but click this and hit edit, and we'll call it Windows XP in this case. Okay, it's set to default boot target. Click that. Click that. It's basically saying which one to boot up. If you don't tell it which one to boot into, which one do you want it to boot into by default? So I'm going to say Linux. Basically, if I don't tell it what to boot up, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. If I don't say, you know, boot into Windows or CentOS, it's going to boot into CentOS by default. Okay? No interaction, boot into CentOS. Hit next. It's going to install the bootloader. Actually, sorry, 1 second. Choose minimal desktop. Don't worry about anything else. We don't need to customize any of the repositories or the packages. We don't need to add repositories, nothing like that. Just choose minimal desktop. Hit next. Okay, and it's checking dependencies, and it's about ready to start installing. And now it's starting the installation process, and it's going to this little progress bar here. It's going to show us what packages are being installed, and there's going to be 924, and it's going to go through and it's going to install them. I'm going to see you in just a second. So it's installing right now. You know, it's installing the packages. It's still installing the packages. I actually figured out I have the ability to pause while I'm recording, which is pretty cool. So you don't have to sit here and watch the packages install while I just sit here and BS and talk and talk and talk and try and, you know, not to have that uncomfortable silence, you know. I think in the last time I was recording the video and I was doing it in one take and everything like that without having to edit, I browsed Reddit and looked at the front page and looked at, hey, actually, screw it, let's do that. I don't know. I have an interview with Richard Stallman. He's a pretty interesting guy, actually. Oh, the Pirate Bay. Who got on my computer and went to the Pirate Bay and downloaded Windows XP? Someone did, and I'm just disgusted with that person. I'm a single dad, and my son has no idea where I've been for the last 6 hours. Aww, that's actually pretty cool, man. I have a kid too, and yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, man, now I want to buy my kid a Wii. Thanks for dinner at Taco Bell. Wow, they replied. Dude, I love Taco Bell. I had Taco Bell actually tonight. I'm Mexican. I still like Taco Bell. I had a Mexican pizza. Delicious. Oh. That's interesting. Sweatbands are your wrist, or for wiping sweat off your forehead. Huh. I always use them to wipe my butt. Oh, Top Gear. I like that show. That does not interest me. That is cool. I don't know, I have a kid. It's like, How do you know a person has a kid? They post pictures of their kid on Facebook. I do not do that, but conservative economist. We need to raise taxes. Fox host. You are a communist. It's amazing how little I care about the front page. I'm not conservative and like I don't really give a damn, but it's just, yeah, I really don't care. Nice try, Jesus. Oh. Hey, there I am. Okay. Anyway, who cares? So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I unpaused. I just wanted to BS and talk for a minute. So it's installing the packages, and yeah. So the last time I made the video, I had to fill this space of time where it installs the packages with a bunch of crap, and then I figured out I can pause while I'm recording. So I do that now. I may cuss every once in a while in the video, and if I do, I'm very sorry. I remember when I was like 13, and we were in the car with this guy, and this was back in the 90s. I didn't know anything about computers or anything like that, and he was an old guy. This was like 1994. Let me see. In 94 I was 12, so 95. And he was talking about, oh, computers hear more cuss words than anything. And I had kind of a conservative family, and they didn't cuss or anything like that. And I was like, I didn't get it. What the heck is this guy talking about? Computers hear cuss words. Now I understand. So if I do cuss, I apologize, but I'll try not to do that. And I'm gonna pause the video again, and it's like cooking shows where like they throw something in the oven and then they have it already made, and they bring it out and they say, here it is, and you don't have to sit there and wait for 45 minutes as whatever they're cooking cooks. And see this right here, and I right click and I pause. I just looked at something on what WTF, you know, where is it? A wart came off. Ugh. Really horrible. Don't ever look at that one. It's disgusting. Yeah. Actually, WTF is usually it's like kind of stupid actually, but this one is actually WTF. It's really disgusting. All right, I'm gonna pause again. Okay, so it sits at this. It's gonna sit at this for actual. Anyway, on my system, and pretty much every time I've done an install, it's going to sit at this last package for a long time. And if you have never done this before, you may be like, oh great, I got all the way to the end and it locked up. It's not locked up. Don't worry, it's doing its thing. It just, you know, takes a minute, so let it sit here and let it do its thing, and just wait the time that you know, however long it takes. If it's like the next day and you've waited 12 hours, you know, you're locked up. Okay, pause. It's weird when you see someone online with the same exact tattoo that you have. My middle name is Raymond. It's a horrible name. I don't know why anyone... Oh, I'm sorry. If your name is Raymond, it's actually not a horrible name. It's just, my middle name is Raymond, and do not like it. I don't care how much people love Raymond. It's not the best name ever. Oh, I have some sort of... someone probably asking if they can get in on the class. See, and I reply and I say /r/noob to admin, and that's all I say. And hopefully they follow it and figure out, because I sent out a bunch of emails and stuff like that. And you know what, actually I should really do, did I not update this post? I should really do that and put at least, at the very least, oh yeah, there it is. Alright, cool. I did put it up there, see? I said go there. And I made it bold so that people would see it and hopefully go there. I still didn't seem to be the most helpful thing in the world, because a lot of people still reply to this post and ask where the heck the class is at. So I have to constantly reply to people and say, oh, it's here, go check it out. Oh, cool, so it's done installing the last package, it's installing the bootloader now, right? So pretty much at this point we're done. We got a couple of things left to do. Okay, so install the bootloader. Reboot. Since we're doing a dual boot, I'm going to boot into Windows and make sure everything's good there. Should be. See no problem with it, but yeah, it's always best to make sure you didn't lose everything. Okay, so oh, I just hit a key. I hit the up arrow. So I got Windows XP, and I did not hit enter. Ah, dang it. Alright, I'll boot into Windows in a minute. It seems to want to boot itself into Linux. Huh? Man. Stupid computers. And their computer errors. Everyone says user error. I swear, you can't blame anything on the computer, they say. That's a bunch of crap. Computers screw you over. Oh, see how it's determining IP information? That's because during the install, we said activate on boot or whatever that was. So it's going to activate and hibbity dibbity dibbity. The first thing we're going to do when we get into the system is going to take a minute, so we didn't set up a user. Oh yeah, so first boot, here we go, first boot. Yes, I agree. I agree. Comes with no guarantees or warranties. Good. Forward. We could create a user, but you know what? We're not going to. We are going to be root for everything we do. Hit forward. Yes, I want to continue. Synchronize that date and time over the network. Here's your NTP servers. Hit forward. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so it says insufficient memory. That's because I don't have a lot of memory. If you can enable kdump, do. Enable it. If it says the same thing for you, don't worry about it. Don't enable it. Not a big deal. If you can, do, because we're going to be covering some of this stuff later. So it's, you know, it's good to have. I want to have that. But if not, no big deal. And hit finish. Okay, so hit other and type in root and type in the password you set for root. And the first thing we're going to do, and say, you know what, never tell me that again. It's just saying, oh, you're root. And go to System Tools and go to Terminal and type in yum. space -y space update. Okay, it's going to update everything that's on the system that can possibly be updated. Everything that is installed, it's going to do it. Update it. So it's going to grab a bunch of stuff and update the system. Okay. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. A lot of stuff, right? And it's 173 megabytes worth of download stuff. It's going to upgrade 91. It's going to install 1, probably as a dependency. Installing. Oh, yeah. It's installing the new kernel. It never upgrades the kernel, and you'll learn why later. Basically, it's a rule. When you have a new kernel, install it. Never upgrade it. And you'll learn why. But so it's installing the new kernel. Okay. Pause. Do you want to look at some cute pictures with me? Aw. Aw. I clicked on aw. Let's go to it. Let's see what's up. Oh, that's actually pretty cute. Looks kind of like raccoon. Kind of looks like a raccoon though, and they're vicious. They are just mean animals. They're probably, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna go out and beat them or anything, but yeah, what's up? Yeah. I like kittens. My cats are not kittens. They're fat, lazy. Aww. Yeah, sad. Lost all hearing, so he sleeps. And at the door every time I leave to still... Wait, every time I leave to still be there... Wait. So he sleeps, and at the door... Oh, so he sleeps in at the door every time I leave to still be there the moment I come home. You can see how the door has to hit him when I walk in. Love this guy. Nah, that's cool. That is pretty cool. I don't like little dogs like that. I really don't. They're dirty. Oh, I raised a feral orphan, Jack, and for the longest time he didn't have any playmates until I got Lola. Now they're inseparable. I'm telling you, I used to do what's it called? I used to catch feral cats, basically, right? And I used to put them in a cage, or catch them in a cage, and then take them down and have them spayed or neutered, and then release them back. And feral cats, they are, I cannot imagine what it's like. If you get a feral cat and it's a year old, there's no way you're gonna tame that cat. I guess maybe, but I never could. They are crazy. They are wild. I actually I caught one feral one time, and I was driving home, and it got out of the cage that I trapped it in, and it went nuts in my car. And I'm driving, and all of a sudden this cat just started going crazy, and it started slamming its head into my window. Have you ever seen the movie Cujo, the Stephen King film, where the dog is just like slamming into the car, and the dog's all bloody and just bleeding all over the place? This cat went nuts and was like trying to get out of my car and just slamming itself into my car. And it's very, I mean, you can't just like grab it and throw it back in the cage. I can't remember what I did, but I had to. Somehow I ended up getting that cat back in the cage, or I ended up getting out of my car somehow. I can't remember how. But yeah, they're feral cats are crazy. And that same exact cat, I let it out, which was a stupid idea. I got home, so I think the first feral cat, or maybe the second feral cat I caught. I got home and I let it out in the room in my house, and it was like having a crazy psychotic killer living in your house. this cat was nuts just walking around my room. And a guy I worked with, I didn't know him very well or anything like that, he wanted to take this cat and he actually wanted to raise this cat. He wanted to make, like, tame this cat and make this cat his own. And he came over to my place and I told him, you know, this cat's like loose in my room, we got to get it back in the cage so you can take it down and get it neutered or spayed or whatever. And you know, if you want to take it and you want to take it home and try and like make it tame, whatever, that's up to you, but you know, we got to somehow get it back in the cage. So I got to trap this cat somehow. And he said, oh, no. He said, no problem, man, I'll just go and I'll grab the cat and I'll put it in the cage. That guy ended up bleeding all over my carpet, man. That cat tore him up. So feral cats are crazy. Let me see. Oh, I like puppies. I'm kind of a cat person, though. I really do like cats. I got cats. I do not like that cat. That is not... I guess that maybe that's a joke. Those cheeks. Kind of cheeks. Not really. So, okay, so it's like Yum Update is updating all the packages right now. So it's on 78 of 183. So that we don't have to look at any more cats, I will pause it again for you. I just saw this post here. Reddit, what is the nerdiest joke you know? The nerdiest joke I know is this. What does the math nut say when he grows up? Geometry. Okay, so at this point it's pretty much done with the Yum update. Updated all packages. We installed a new kernel, so we are going to want to boot into that kernel. Hibbity dibbity. And of course it just sits there. There is no way Oregon would ever win if all 50 states went to war. Yeah, exactly. And of course it just sits here, the last one. I have always wanted to move to Vermont. I don't know why. Vermont just seems so nice. Oops. I really like this University of Reddit. I created a page on here, and I mean, you know, I got to figure out how do I go to it anyway? Oh, there we go. I got to figure it out, but I'm definitely really liking it. Pretty cool. It's a nice, really nice system. They've done a good job on this. I'm really impressed. Much better than some of the crap I've seen. Okay, cool. So Yum Update's done, right? So the next step is to reboot. And we want to boot into the new kernel. And there's a lot of really good classes on here, actually. Current classes. I wonder what they have for literature. Do they have literature? Ooh, philosophy. I love philosophy. I have a degree in philosophy. I'm not a philosophy major, I have a degree. Okay, so here's the old kernel, here's the new kernel. Let's make sure Windows works. And then we'll boot into the new kernel. This is a little bit more detailed than the regular video. You know what I should teach after this? Maybe a class on introduction to existentialism, covering like Heidegger and Nietzsche and stuff like that. There's not a lot of philosophy classes. I'm kind of sad. Can we boot into Windows? Oh, sweet. Worked. By the way, welcome to my ADD, which I do actually have. Man, I'm really sad that there's not more philosophy classes. Is this it? Or My discipline of philosophy seeks to ask the question, what does it mean to live a good and humane life? Utilize philosophical tools portrayed in Aristotle's, Confucian's, John Dewey's Human Nature. Cool. So booted. Oh, I might get a virus. Okay, turn off and we'll restart. And we'll boot into the latest kernel of Linux. CentOS. I am really sad that there's not more philosophy classes. If anyone's interested in philosophy, let me know, and I might actually teach a class on Heidegger, Sartre, Nietzsche, oh wow, Kierkegaard. I almost forgot Kierkegaard. Alright, one second. So, check it out. So, there's the new kernel. I'm going to boot into it. Kierkegaard. Who are the other existentialists? The other existential philosophers? I guess maybe, bookshelf and trying to think of the other existentialist philosophers. I guess if you teach existentialism, you should probably teach Hegel as well. And maybe Husserl, maybe some phenomenology, since Heidegger built on phenomenology. Anyway, yeah, I like philosophy. It's a good subject. It's interesting stuff. It's not something you get to talk to people about a lot. General studies, how to teach on Reddit. I'm going to take that class, swear to God. I'm going to add that. Technical writing, that's probably a really good class. 45-minute full body stretch and strengthening routine. That's really good, man. Stretching and stuff. Civil War history. I also love history too. I pretty much have a bachelor's in history. I should have just completed a bachelor's in history. So, we're booting up. I'm very interested in history. I'm helping a high school kid with a history project right now about Israel and Palestine, and or not Palestine, Palestinians, and amazing the stuff that's going on right now, especially considering yeah. Anyway, okay, what am I doing? Okay, applications, system tools, terminal. This is going to determine what video you take next, right? Type this in. grep VMX or SVM /proc/CPU info. Nothing comes back, you're going to take the VirtualBox video. Okay, you're going to watch the VirtualBox video. Now, come over here. This is my physical system. VMX or SVM. Alright? /proc/CPU info. If a bunch of junk like this comes back, you're going to take the KVM video. So that's what's going to determine which video you take. And this video is done. So look forward to seeing you in the KVM or VirtualBox video, whichever one you end up taking. And bye.